Hey, we're gonna go over the Turkish Get Up in a little bit more depth than if you saw the previous video. I kind of did a brief overview of it. So we're gonna take a little bit more time to talk about the finer tuned points of the Get Up today. So, first thing is, you'll notice I don't have shoes on. In traditional hardstyle kettlebell training, you don't do any kettlebell movements with shoes on. However, if you want to keep your shoes on, just make sure that you have like a pretty, not anything too squishy, because we want something with stability, no heel, so you have a really solid foot structure to grip the ground with. All right, I'm going to start on my side. My left side with my left hand gripping the kettlebell. My right hand is my support hand. I'm going to hug it into my chest, knees bent, and then roll over onto my back. Easy step one. My knees are bent. First thing I'm going to do is press the bell straight overhead, so my arm is vertical, and I'm going to pack my shoulder in. So I actually like to take my supporting hand, my right hand right now, and use it to remind me to get some space between the top of my shoulder and my ear, all right? So my lat is going to be a little bit engaged. I can reach around my rib cage to feel it. From here, I'm going to make sure my wrist is neutral. So sometimes I'll see people with this little gap between the bell and the back of their hand. We want to roll the knuckles up to the ceiling to straighten out the wrist so we have a straight line from the knuckles all the way down the arm. Okay, from here, opposite arm and legs. My right arm and leg are going to come out at 45 degrees, give or take. You can kind of feel this one out. And then I heel toe this foot out a little bit because the first move is going to be to roll. So the kind of initial misconception about the Get Up is that it's a sit up. Okay? If I try to sit up from here, it's not going to go very well, especially when you have a heavy weight. When you work up to a heavy kettlebell, you're not going to be able to sit straight up. So I'm going to press through. You can think about it like a bridge with the roll. I'm going to press through that left foot. I'm going to reach my right arm out, and I'm going to keep my shoulder packed and then keep a proud chest as I roll over. So I'll do that a couple times so you can see. Deep breath in, exhale, roll. So as I'm rolling, I'm thinking about kind of punching the bell up, again, pressing through this left foot, and then keeping my spine really long with my chest out. If I let my shoulder kind of relax here instead of punching up, that's not going to bode well for later. So we want that active shoulder. Right now, my shoulder of my right arm should be right on top of my elbow, which it mostly is, so that I can then, step two, press onto my long arm. That one is pretty easy, all right? So just from here, all the way up. So this sets us up in a position to bridge, all right? And that way, after I bridge, I can sweep my leg through. So I'm actually looking at the wrong spot right now. You should be keeping your eyes on the bell the whole time. All right? I have you guys that I'm trying to pay attention to, so I guess I found the midpoint. But if you look at my hands, my foot, and my knee right now, if I adjust a little bit, it's not perfect. I should be in this tripod position, all right? So I'm gonna come back here. I'm going to go through those two steps again. I'm here, I'm bridging, so my hips get up really high so I have enough space to sweep my leg through into my tripod. One of the most valuable kind of drills you can do for your Get Up is to practice that transition right there. And that way you can get this position looking pretty good. So if I had a heavier bell, this wouldn't be going well because I'm looking all over the place, but look at your bell the whole time. So in order to make sure we can continue looking at the bell and to get our weight back, I'm just gonna sit my hips back towards my heel here. All right, this makes it easier. My hand's gonna find my leg, and then I'm just gonna finish coming up into this half kneeling position. From here, my leg windshield wipers back to set me up for a lunge. All right, so then I just stand. And then you finish the first half of your Get Up. At this point, you can take your eyes off the bell. You're kind of safely overhead. If you're doing a snatch or an overhead lunge, you wouldn't have to look at the bell here. But as you move your body underneath to get up to this position, you want to keep your eyes right there. Okay, coming down. I'm going to use my supporting arm to tap my leg. That's a reminder this leg is stepping back. So now I can start looking at my bell again, step back into a lunge, make sure it's controlled. Now everything now is just in reverse on the way down. Everything you did up, you just do in reverse on the way down. So my leg is going to windshield wiper back. I'm going to take my hand down my leg because I can't just reach out to the ground, or you could, but if the weight is heavy, you're not going to want to. So eyes on the bell, I find my hip, I trace a line down my leg, and then find my tripod position, right? So this L shape, I'm going to sweep that leg through, lower my bridge down. I like to take this arm and reach it out a little bit so that I can facilitate my roll side to side. It gives me a little bit more leverage to go across my body when I lower down. All right, supporting hand to help get the bell down, and then roll over to deposit it on the other side. Now, I finished my get up. Usually you're gonna wanna do the other side. So something very important. Don't take your bell and just bring it over, because if you're lying down and the bell is heavy, it could land right on your chest. So we're gonna halo it all the way around. That's just a safety thing to come to the other side for your second get up. Okay, so that is a little bit more in-depth look at the Turkish get up, and that's all I have for you for now. Thanks. So here, yeah, stick out 45 degrees for your right arm and leg. And then, actually first you have to use, well, again, it's not too heavy, but usually you would use your right arm to help support as you press the bell straight overhead. That would be your first move, actually. Yeah. So straighten out your knuckles, and then pack the shoulder down so it's nicely supported, and then down towards your hip as well. Not just like your entire shoulder. And it might just be fully packed. Yeah, okay, good, so you're supported. Now, you're gonna press through your left foot across your body onto your right arm. Good, and yeah, and so this bit. More of a sit-up, right? No, that was good. That was over and across. Okay. Yeah, that was exactly the roll that you want. It would be a sit-up if you were like aiming your roll straight forward, yeah. And then what you did there with like lengthening your spine at the top was good. So awesome. All right, now you're gonna come up onto your right hand. Make sure that shoulder is active too, which it is, so you're long here. Bridging up onto your hips, or sorry, onto your leg, and then that right leg is gonna shoot through. Good. So here, this is where you would kind of practice the transition to hone it in, because we would want this ankle closer to underneath your knee, and then that knee's gonna be a little bit farther back. Good. All right, and so now we have this L shape going on here, which is great. Okay, so sit your hips back towards your heels, and then come on up. So it's just an easy load, right, to do that instead of like bridging from all the way over. Now, windshield wiper your leg back so you're in a lunge position, and then tuck your toes. And then if you need to like make any fine-tune adjustments to stand up for your lunge, and then straighten out your wrist because you bent it again. Yeah, good. Okay, now right arm taps your leg because you know that's where you have to step back to, or the leg that's gonna lunge backwards. Good. Eyes on the bell. Windshield wiper your leg away, and then trace a line down your leg, perfect, to find the ground so you have that tripod, and then look real quick. Usually I wouldn't say this, but right, to see how you're not quite in that, like, yeah, perfect. Okay, now the leg can shoot through. Good. And then take your right arm and reach it out a little bit, and that way you can roll across, so you can lower onto your elbow. Yeah, and perfect. Now your elbow's right underneath your shoulder, and then you can roll across. And that one, like if you feel kind of pinched there, you can just adjust, you can learn to adjust your arm farther out. And then lower down, and then deposit on the side. And you did your get up.
Awesome.